For Brian Golly, like he said, Smart Investing Solutions. It's a Friday with Arash Madani. We should have had pints.
We should.
Yeah. It's
coffee. It's coffee in here.
We would have got it.
I won't tell you what's in here either.
Yeah.
For Friday evening. Yeah.
That a boy. That he's on Eastern time, right? He's got a couple. He's got an hour head start.
At least.
Would that have made a difference? Would it have been on Pacific time?
True.
It's after lunch. That's good enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to CFL. We're gonna get to NFL in a bit. I have to ask you your thoughts because I said on the program yesterday, and I'm going to be that guy that says, great. I said, but then I'm like, we could be in for a classic tonight between Miami and Ole Miss. Said it on the show. Said it's one of those college feels where you sit for 4 hours on the couch and just watch good football. If you just want to be entertained, it doesn't matter what side of the border it's on. Just like Americans love watching the CFL games that are good. Sit down. It could be a classic. Could be a great football game. I changed my bet. I mentioned this 30 seconds before kickoff. I went from an old... What's that?
Hey, all that research you put in 30 seconds before you change your mind.
I'll tell you how I was swayed, my friend.
Okay.
I was watching the ESPN pregame show.
Yes.
They all picked Miami. And
really?
I was like, they're doing and I'm like, well, I think I should change from an Ole Miss money line to -3.5. Let's take Miami to cover it. And what a finish if you had that bet, because it comes down to the end. Anyways, long story short, instant classic. Was it a pass interference call? Because you never call those on a Hail Mary, but...
I like the rules analyst calling it hand-to-hand combat. Because that's what it was. Was it defensive pass interference? Yes.
Yes.
Was it offensive pass interference?
Yes.
Yes. And when they're just going at it, I was listening to Chris Fowler. He was on Dan Patrick today. He made a great point. He said 25 million people don't tune in to watch the referees. At some point, unless it's going to be absolutely egregious in that spot, it was Hail Mary-ish. You don't throw that flag unless it was fully on the defense, and it wasn't. It was back and forth. I like the non-call. What back-to-back primetime games. First we had Sunday night, Pittsburgh-Baltimore, and then last night, Ole Miss-Miami. Just two dynamite fourth quarters.
And maybe tonight.
And maybe tonight.
If you're watching the stream, here it is. Yeah. But like you said, Arash, and I said the same thing. I'm like, they're both committing fouls.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes a no call is the right call. You know, let them play. And I think that's what a lot of people would want, and I think that's what the right thing to do there was.
Nobody wants to see a game ended by an official. Do you know what I mean? Like the official being involved in the end of a game or somehow influencing the end of the game, right? Some could say he was because he didn't make the call. Some could say he wasn't, right?
Seen it happen.
It's not good.
Dallas Stars won the cup. Some people will say, but I'm like, hey, you gotta let that go. Madano needed his cup. And
the other thing about this too, guys, like, I get they're being paid now, but they're still kids. Like, it is still, they're 2 years out of high school, you know, like the pros, they are grown-ups, they're adults, they're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. This is a totally different deal. You have a 20-year-old going up against a 21-year-old or a 19-year-old. That's the reality of what college football is.
I was watching it with the boy. He picked it up late. He wasn't there for the full. He was playing the video games and he came up, and he loves the game, right? And I said, you know why this could be really fascinating? I think he watched the last probably 10 minutes with me ish. I said, because they're kids.
Yes.
And the scope of that packed stadium and the semifinal and the pressure, we could see something stupid happen because they're kids. And that's the beauty of it all. So then, he was glued to his seat as well. Speaking of Fowler, I watched that bit, but I didn't. I had to turn it up because I saw him smoking that vape. in the hotel room today while talking to Dan Patrick, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? But then he said it was for his voice.
Yeah, he's trying to get his voice back. Yeah, usually vaping helps get your voice back.
Yeah.
That's what I should have told my parents growing up when I was in high school. Right?
Yeah, well, the non-filtered Demoriers out here in Sasky.
Roll your owns.
Yeah. Okay, let's go over to the CFL here. Winter meetings happening next week in Calgary. A lot on the agenda. I saw it today also. Potential rule changes, maybe overtime, replay.
Let me stop you real quick, Barney. Just one thing. Here's what I appreciate of the new era with Stuart Johnston and the CFL. There's actually transparency on what they're going to talk about. There's not this cloak of secrecy, a fight club behind closed doors of what is even on the agenda. They're letting their fans, their people know these are the items that we want to discuss. We're not saying that there are going to be necessarily changes, but these are the talking points that we have for the 2026 season and beyond. I appreciate that as somebody who follows the Canadian Football League, who wants to know what's going on in the Canadian Football League and the direction of the Canadian Football League. But I digress.
Okay, so what jumps out at you from everything that you saw?
A bunch. One of the interesting things was this idea of potentially an American draft. Now, for a long time, if you're an American player who comes to the Canadian Football League, a team usually has your rights. You're on a negotiation list. Now, there is a neg list draft, again, in the cloak of secrecy that goes on behind closed doors. But I think in an NIL world, this actually does make some sense to do it with Americans, because the landscape of college football changing as much as it has is going to make a major impact on the CFL with the Americans who may or may not come up north of the border. So the idea of a draft, all right, let's talk it through. Let's think about the unintended consequences of it. Because there are unintended consequences of the neg list and names getting leaked. So that's something that immediately, among the list of things, that really stood out to me.
The one comment I'll make to that is it gives us another reason to follow along. It gives us another reason to pay attention to what's going on, not only to the CFL and the draft, but to even U.S. college sports, right? I don't have to follow it quite the same because I'll just wait till the neg list comes out and go look for the guy. Right now, I want to see who's in a position to even be on that draft pool.
You know, I'm listening to the game, or watching the game, listening to commentators, and they're talking about, here's Carson Beck in his 6th year of eligibility, comes over from Georgia, making more than $4 million from the University of Miami. And I've had some conversations with league officials, like top league officials. They are worried. They are legitimately worried of what quality of American player is willing to come up here in their mid-20s, late 20s, if they've cashed in an NIL for 3 or 4 years, anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million a year. What's the appetite to come up here for 75 grand Canadian? In the old days, it wasn't like that. So now it's kind of like, okay, well, so this is going to be a really interesting frontier when it comes to you go in the transfer portal right now, the going rate for an offensive lineman is $1 million, a quality offensive lineman. The quarterback's making $3, $4, $5 million. Receivers are making $500,000-$600,000. If you do that for 3 years in college football, the entry-level salary in Canadian dollars, this is going to be an issue.
Well, but again, if you want to be a football player and you're not on the NFL's radar, you got to go play at the league that's going to give you a chance to get there. That's the CFL. It's not selling Volkswagens. It's not working at Foot Locker. You got to go play football somewhere because they're not going to go find you in the mall and go, do you want to come and play for the Miami Dolphins? So if those guys really want to play football and they want to do that in their life, they're going to have to go somewhere and make that happen.
The mall.
It's not the mall.
The Orange Julius. Classic.
I was in I was in Italy on this like random soccer tennis shoot back in like 2017, and went into a restaurant, and I'm looking over and I'm like, man, that guy looks familiar. And it turns out it was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year in basketball, men's basketball, played for the Florida Gators, did one ACL, did the other ACL, then did the other ACL again, ended up playing overseas in Italy, and there he was, the lone import player, surrounded by 14, 15 Italian dudes at this restaurant, and everyone's speaking Italian. He's just sitting around just smiling. You never know where your athlete journey is going to take
you. Don't know.
It was awesome yesterday. We had Mike Thomas from the Regina Flag Football League on with Glenn Suter, because the registration for Regina Flag Football, Youth Flag Football, was Monday, and I think they're going to be at about 3,700 kids.
Wow,
playing this year is what the projections are. Now, CFL is going to be talking about the Olympics at the winter meetings as well. CFL players now approved to go. It's a no-brainer, obviously.
Yeah, and to me, the number one player on Team Canada, that as long as he's healthy, you pencil in at quarterback, is Nathan Rourke. Like, that is check. That after that, I think you kind of shrug your shoulders and wonder, okay, like, what could you do? Is Marc-Antoine Dequoy of the Alouettes, yeah, he's a safety, but could he be a pass rusher for you? He's long, he's athletic, he can get to the quarterback. The rest of the positions don't necessarily translate, but quarterback can and quarterback does. Like right now, Michael O'Connor, who won a Vanier Cup for UBC, played in the CFL for a little while with Toronto. He's the national team quarterback, but my presumption is for LA, the idea is that Rourke would be the quarterback.
So now I have to ask you both this question, because you've both made the point, as we've done this all along, is that it's a very different game. Flag football from regular football is a different game. So if Nathan Rourke's not playing that, and we pluck him out of the BC roster and go, hey, you're going to the Olympics for Team Canada, and he goes, what am I throwing? What's the play call here?
Not how it'll work.
Yeah, like I can't see it being that simple, right? You guys have talked about it being different. How is it that transition going to work?
He would practice in the off season. He's going to have to go and learn the game. He's going to have to, because it might not be a fit, because the other guy that could throw for Canada is Curtis Rourke.
Sure.
I was just looking up their 40 times to see who's faster, because the element of speed, if you run an offense with speed, but then if you look at the Italians, when I watched 3 years ago the World Championships, the guy was about 6'7", he didn't move, and he took another 3 yards back, so the rusher was going to be hard to get. He's not moving. He just was so
slinging the ball.
Slinging it. So, Elgersma, I don't know. Who else are we going to throw in there?
Well, let me take it further in terms of skill development, skill change, etc. I believe there could be a spot for Trey Ford on this roster as a backup quarterback, but Trey, you also better get your gloves out, because we're going to need you to play receiver.
You have to.
Yeah. We're going to need you in the offseason work with a receivers coach, because, there's only one quarterback on the roster. We don't have enough roster spots. It's not a 53, 46-man roster here. So Trey Ford, yes, if something happens to Rourke, if there's an injury, if there's a certain situation. Otherwise, we need your athleticism and your roster spot to be used in a different way. So it's... like, the best example that I could give somebody is, if you've ever been to a basketball 3-on-3 competition, they're basically playing inside, like from the 3-point line in. Okay, 3-on-3. Not even a half court. Tackle football's 5-on-5 full court basketball. 3-on-3 is 3-point line and in. And that's, with six people on the floor. And so it's going to be a different animal, and Canadians are going to learn about it.
Yeah. We could talk till 7:00 tonight about this, me. But the one thing, just to put a bow on it, with the Trey Ford, you got to be versatile. If you're not going to be the main chucker, you got to be, and you got to be. The other thing where he could maybe be effective because he's so agile / fast, plus he thinks it, he could be a good rusher.
Yeah.
The guy that rushes the quarterback. So, like I said, we've got to move on because I'll go pour myself an old fashioned and we will be sitting here talking flag football for a while. Let's can we go to NFL? Behind Sharky, you see a New England Patriots flag. We are the home of the New England Patriots in Regina, Saskatchewan for the next 3 days here on the Sports Cage. We said we were going to talk AFC. I want to talk as a Patriots fan. I'm not overly confident because anything can happen, just like a lot of these games in the AFC side especially.
Yeah, I like the Patriots this week. I think that the Chargers' lack of a left tackle and a right tackle is going to be very problematic. But I know this sounds so basic. What's going to be really important for the New England Patriots to do is tackle Justin Herbert the first time. Justin Herbert's going to be running around, and he's got this uncanny ability to have defenders just bounce off of him. The yards after contact have to be minimized by New England's defense if they want to win this football game. If they do, advantage Patriots. If they don't, it's an altogether different football game.
I look at, if I'm going to play the little betting game here, I've got 3 road teams I'm picking. The Rams over the Panthers.
Whoa, going out on a limb.
Colson's excited. Colson's here to listen to that.
49ers over the Eagles and the Texans over the Steelers on Monday night.
So there have been 8 coaches fired already. A quarter of the NFL coaches.
Yeah.
My question to you is, if the Houston Texans win on Monday night, is Mike Tomlin safe?
Great question.
I think so. I do. I think so.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pittsburgh doesn't have a history of firing coaches. What have they had? 5 in the last century? It might not be
Pittsburgh. Mike might go, if Harbaugh doesn't land in Miami, or Mike might go, that Atlanta gig looks very interesting. Oh, Las Vegas, eh? I like my games a chance. Maybe I want to head out. I want to change. He's been there a long time. It might be nice for him to say, let's handshake this out. It's been it's been real. It's been fun. But lately it hasn't been real fun.
And look, I'm not in the business of wanting to get coaches fired or anything like that. Here's my other one. If Chicago beats Green Bay, a Packers team that went 9-6-1 and hasn't won a playoff game in 4 years, is Matt LaFleur, with a new president over there in Green Bay, is Matt LaFleur on the hot seat?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Again, he might take that little cheesy mustache down to Miami.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, you really want to grow up and be a professional football coach, do you? Yeah, we're talking about the possibility of 10 of 32 jobs, including Pete Carroll, who's a one and done. Yeah. It's nuts.
And I just, for the life of me, hope that we don't start hearing, well, Belichick's in the running. They're going to interview Belichick. Please.
Somebody will.
Please, man. Please.
Jordan's working the phone for him right now.
I love the Miami situation because you kind of got Dan Marino doing whatever he does, and then now you got Troy Aikman calling some shots there, being an advisor
in Miami. Oh no!
Yeah, all we're missing is Ace Ventura, and then we're all covered.
Ray Finkel. Where's Ray Finkel? Ihorn is Finkel. Finkel is Ihorn. Okay, I gotta say, back to the Patriots flag. Official Patriots station here. You know what? I don't know if you guys ever been to a game at Gillette.
No.
One of the cool things about Gillette Stadium, it's not getting to it or leaving it because it is awful. It bottlenecks. It's
one road in, one road out.
Oh, it's so bad laid out. Although you have that whole little complex they built around there now, which is great. They play, and I don't know if this is Robert and Jonathan Kraft's taste of music. They play a lot of good 90s rock. They don't play to the teens and the kids and the hot to goes and all that.
There's no Bieber.
You're gonna hear some Motley Crue. You're gonna hear some GNR, and you're gonna hear a lot of Bon Jovi.
Wow.
At Gillette. You ever been there?
I have, yeah. It's this is, and I don't know if this is still the case, but I was there pre-COVID. They still had paper tickets. I'm like, really? Like that's what we're doing here?
Tell them to call me.
Yeah. I want to word this properly. It's not a dangerous place to be if you're wearing the other team's jersey, but you certainly are not welcome there. There is not a lot of friendliness if you're not rooting for the Pats.
They don't try to even be kind to you, do they? No.
Here's the thing about Boston. Just playing with guys from there, being there a lot, I found, my one buddy, he learned the hard way, that they're cool with you being there. They're not going to be overly hospitable, but they're all right.
They'll accept it.
But you want to start being tough guy or running your mouth, then you better be able to go. Because then they're not putting up with you.
No.
Like, they're not going to like you, but they're not going to jump you for no reason and beat the snot out of you like they would in Philly, maybe.
I'll tell you a fun Philly. I'll tell you a fun story about the Meadowlands. Years ago, I went as a fan. Bikes were playing New York, and buy scalper tickets, whatever, resale tickets, and I'm in a giant season ticket section. So it's just a sea of blue and white, and two jerks come in purple
with their purple thumbs.
Right? And I'm hearing it, and I'm hearing it, and I'm hearing it, and I just don't react. I don't react. And the Vikings in the first quarter could not have played worse. And I'm just screaming all hell at them. And then between the first and second quarter, I hear, "Hey, you bleep. Hey, you bleep." And I know they're talking to me. Finally, he's like, "Hey, Peterson," because I had an Adrian Peterson jersey on. I kind of look over, and he said, "Hey, you're welcome here anytime. You hate your team way more than we hate your team."
Oh, is that good?
Yeah.
That's New York,
Yeah. And when you end up buying tickets and we're just some absolute pigeons going down for you, and you buy, these are good seats, and you're cheering for the other team, and you end up in a section like that, because I've done it. I've been there. You know who also hears it? That season ticket holder that sold the tickets. Because then those guys, you owe us around. Yeah. The next game, you owe us around and all that. I think you said once too that the interesting story about Bon Jovi played at one of the stadiums.
So if you remember 15, 16 years ago, the Bills in Toronto series, they played a bunch of preseason, regular season games up at the Rogers Centre. And there was legitimate talk that at the time, Ted Rogers and Phil Lind wanted to bring the Bills to Toronto. And John Bon Jovi was part of that ownership group, and the people of Buffalo were incensed. They were like, "You're not taking our team away, blah, blah, blah." And obviously it didn't end up working out. Ted Rogers passed away. The thing kind of fell apart. And then the Pagulas stepped in and bought it. To this day, at a Buffalo Sabres or a Buffalo Bills game, you will not hear Bon Jovi played at the arena or at the stadium. They have long memories over there in Western New York. You're not taking our football team from us.
I appreciate holding a good grudge. I really do. I'm a big fan of a good grudge.
Okay. Yeah. Before we let you go then, because I love doing this kind of stuff, pop culture time. Favorite Bon Jovi song?
Probably Living on a Prayer.
Arash?
Yeah, I mean, that's the song you always hear.
I thought for sure one of you was going to go with Bad Medicine. You know what mine might... Maybe the most underrated one, too, that was good. Born to Be My Baby.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, wanted
3,
dead or
4.
alive isn't bad.
Yeah,
It's a nice
I go dead
slow
or alive.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably grabbed some Jordache jeans back at a sock hop to that back in your day.
I think they're even younger than me.
All right, Arash. What a weekend. What a night to watch football and then into the weekend. Western pizza.
Yes.
It's a Western pizza
Western
weekend.
pizza kind of weekend.
Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
Maybe Spiro will send one on the direct.
He can ship.
Yeah.
He can ship if you need him to. Yeah.
Okay. Catch you, buddy. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.